So there was this house by Brunswick, you know? And somebody told us, and he was like, hey, he's like, there's this house. It's vacant. There's a bunch of tweakers staying there. But in the attic, there's guns, you know? And nobody knows that. So one night we're like, all right, we're going to put on boots and we're going to put on boots and get flashlights and we're going to scare all the fucking tweakers out of there. You know, maybe we may or may not have gotten some type of badge. Like the cops. No, we ran in there like cops and all the tweakers like scattered like roaches, you know, like the second they hear like there was a knock at the door, you know, like LAPD, you know, literally like, you could hear motherfuckers like rustling through the bushes. So we came in there and kind of like took over this house and went through the whole thing and there weren't any fucking guns in the attic, you know, but, what there was is we were like, there was garages that were locked and we're like, no, they're in the garages, you know? And where there was one that had like a really rusty lock and we opened the garage door and fucking pulled it up and there was a Ferrari in there. Like maybe driven, you know, I think it had like 380 miles on it, you know? And we were like, fuck, these people, whoever this was, these people had money. Damn. But nobody had lived there in a solid like 20 years. Like there was nobody other than the tweakers, you know? So whoever was there just kind of left it. And my friend that I was with was like, yo, let's get a bunch. Like there was paperwork everywhere, you know, and this is like when you would look for profiles.
Yes.
You know,
profiles.
Yeah, profiles. Yeah.
Profiles are like you build a profile on someone so that you can kind of have like credit cards and
Yeah, it's like social engineering.
That's a way to put it. You could put that on a resume.
What do you have, a profile on there?
I'm a social engineer.
Put that, download
I have years of experience. Social engineering.
In social engineering.
That's amazing.
Which, I mean, once you hear how this ended, like, yes, we got the fucking experience. So we get all these boxes and it was like, just weird, like old medical records and shit, you know? And then somehow we find that like there's a newspaper article in there and it's from this guy whose house it was who won the lottery like back in Pittsburgh, like in like whatever in like the late 70s or the 60s. But then he moved out here and he won the lottery again. He was like one of those 2-time lottery winner guys, you know? And at this point he was in a convalescent home. And we started like, so, you know, social engineering. And we realized that this dude had like 42 lines of credit that were open.
Oh, no. The curse of the lottery winner.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, and then we're like, well, let's try to do
what's another 2?
Yeah, what's another 2, 11, you know, whatever. So we just kind of lived off of this guy for a while. Shit. And at some point, my friend was like, I'm going to go, like, because like they cut off one of their cards. She's like, I'm gonna go visit him in the convalescent home to see if I could like get the maybe like, you know, his what's it called, like right to attorney, you know, like get him to like sign over. Like that's how insane. Clever. Yeah, genius, you know. Yeah. Goes to the place and they go, oh, he passed away, dude's dead, you know. And we're like, oh fuck. But there was a bunch
didn't stop you.
Did not. Oh yeah. But now we have all these lines of credit to somebody that's not alive, you know. And my friend who I like reconnected with volunteering at the Needle Exchange, I had 6 months sober. I am living in sober living. And she's like, hey, I'm doing like one last hurrah and I'm going to Hawaii for New Year's, you know, like off of, you know, last said hurrah. Person's thing, you know, because me and her found the stuff. Like we made this happen, you know. So she's like now rubbing it in. And I was like, fuck, must be nice. And she's like, send me your, she's like, just send me your info real quick, you know, like your email address and whatever your date of birth and, you know, and I do. And I'm sitting in a meeting and somebody shares about like how they just came back from Hawaii and it was really cool. And I was like, fuck, you know, like, and I fucking get a notification and I have an itinerary for a flight to Hawaii that she booked for me. So I have put in a pass at the Sober Living to go spend time with my friend who's still like spun out of her mind in Hawaii. You know?
How long were you sober at this point?
This was in January. I got sober in July. So maybe 5 months,
okay,
you know?
Okay.
So I'm like, fuck it. I'm not going to tell them obviously that I'm going out there with my friends that are like fucking strung out, you know? And I got the pass approved, you know, and I go to the airport and the night before she calls me and she goes, hey, we need a solid. I'm like, all right, what's the solid? And she goes, we need you. We're out of dope, you know? And I was like, fuck. And she's like, so we need you to go and pick up some dope and fly with it to Hawaii for us, you know? I'm like, oh, I guess I'm flying with some dope, you know? So I went and I got some dope. I wrapped it in a Tootsie Roll. We good? Yeah. We are. Yeah, wrapped it in a Tootsie Roll. Because I had this thing, like I had a friend tell me that flew to like one of those countries.
A Tootsie Roll.
Yeah.
It was like dope. It was heroin.
Yeah, heroin.
Fuck.
So I wrapped it in a thing.
it looks,
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
He would fly to like all these crazy countries, and he would like where they would like chop your arm off if you brought in drugs. And his whole hustle was he would put like the drugs. He would do like hash and stuff, and he would put it in pants. And he would say if he ever got rolled, he'd be like, "Oh, I haven't worn these pants in 6 months. I didn't know that was there." And somehow he got away with it. So I remember him telling me this, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just get some candy. I'll put it in a dirty pair of pants. I'll pack it with my stuff, you know,
and mix it in with some clean candy.
Some clean candy, yeah. There'll be a candy variety." So I get out there, land, whatever, you know. I spend 10 days with them in fucking Hawaii, in Kie, you know. It was like, it was cool. And every day they'd be like, "Oh yeah, we're going to go to a fucking luau. And then we're going to like, you know, go do this." And they would just sit there like trying to find a vein the entire day. And I'd be like,
God, I'm
going to go. Yeah, I'm going to go to whatever. I went to like some nude beach that was rad and they had like a crazy drum circle. And then I was going to meetings every day. Like I found meetings in the area, you know, and I didn't tell them. I wasn't like, "Hey guys, I'm going to go to a meeting of it," you know, whatever. I was just like, "Oh, I'm going to go for a walk," you know.
And they were just sitting around wherever they were. Just
I have a photo of her. Yeah, I have a photo of her that fuck it, we're even going to post. It's her in a snorkeling mask because she didn't have any veins at the end of it, and she was just muscle. And it's her in a snorkeling mask muscling a shot into her arm through a sweater. Through a sweater. Just no fucks given.
Oh man.
But her girlfriend at the time was like, they ran out of meth day 2, and she was like, "I need you to ship me meth to fucking whatever." And it got shipped on a Thursday overnight. Meth. Yeah, you can't muscle meth, you know. But so they were probably smoking it or whatever. Okay. And apparently meth in Hawaii is like,
it's good. It's ice.
But it's like really expensive. It's like $600, like $300 a gram or something, which is nuts, you know. Yeah. So they had
$300 a gram.
Yeah,
crazy.
It's really expensive.
Oh fuck,
yeah, it's an island.
Anything on an island. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So they had somebody ship them a half ounce of meth that got to Honolulu. We're staying in Maui, and
Charlie's wild.
Charlie, he's just over here knocking shit over. Wilding. We need to put a camera on Charlie for the next one.
Yeah,
see all the wacky stuff. Yeah,
there he is. There he is.
Oh, now they know.
Shaluch. Now they know the beautiful. There's the beautiful Charles.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. Right.
So they send it gets shipped to Honolulu, but FedEx doesn't travel on Sundays or whatever, you know. So it gets stuck in Honolulu. So my friend ends up booking a flight to fly to Honolulu
to intercept it,
to get it from. She was like, "What time are you guys open till?" Like 9 o'clock. It's like 4 p.m. She goes, "I'll fucking be there." And goes to the airport, flies, shoves it inside of her. Half ounce. It's not 100 grams.
Yeah.
You know?
That's me so much.
So she flew back. She gets there, shoves it in her, flies back. Now they have a half ounce of meth and whatever the 4 grams of dope that I brought, you know, which like for the few days, like it was enough. I think maybe I went out with them like once or twice. They ran out of cash and they would go to a gas station. Because I'm sure you know with fraud, it's like you can have a lot of stuff, but money is so hard to get, you know? Yeah. It's so hard. It's like the most fucked up thing where like I knew dudes that had like every pair of Jordans that had ever existed, like the rarest shoes. But there's like a weird juju attached to it and like trying to get rid of stuff. Yeah. And like getting rid and like your stuff is your identity, you know?
Mm-hmm. So, you always have things to trade.
You always got, but no cash. Yeah. And so they were like going to the gas station and being like, "Hey, we lost our wallet at a luau earlier and like we'll fill up your tank for $20. And they're like I don't even know why they needed the whatever, you know? Yeah. But they flew back. I missed my flight because I'm an idiot. And I was like, "Oh, the airport's only 30 minutes away. I'm going to hang out at the beach a little longer." They ended up booking me another flight. Thank you to Dead Guy's credit card. And I get back, and a week later, the one friend was like, "Hey, you were having a lot of fun. And like it seemed like you were like, and whatever you're doing, I want to do it." And got into treatment. She has like 3.5 years sober now.
Wow.
And then her girlfriend got into treatment, had a little bit of time. The treatment center she got into got shut down, so she went and started doing fraud on all the people that like ran the treatment center and did a whole bunch of stuff and got busted, but now is back and sober again. She was the one that I remember. I was like, "Wait, I have a girl. You need." Remember, I was like, "You need to sponsor her."
Oh,
and
shit!
But she never hit you up. You know?
I do remember that. Yes,
yeah, that's her. Yeah.
Us,
well, she's back.
Us
she was
white
busted.
collar people need to stick together. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. But they're both sober today, which is insane.
Wow.